Prabhupada, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for services, for your services and joining every day. Hare Krishna. Very beautiful chanting, Mataji, in the morning always. So inspire me.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranama Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. May I know who is?
This is Sulochana Radhika Devi Dasi from India, Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna Aditi Sulochana Devi Dasi Mataji. Dandvat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining all the way to India. This is your first time, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, first time, Mataji.
Oh, okay. Welcome to the Bhakti Sangha. We will welcoming you with speaking 3 times. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Thank you, Mataji. Please join every day.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glory to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna Neetu Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining every single day without any missing. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, so glories to Prabhupada, and glories to Guru Vargas, so glories to all the Vaishnavas. This is Yasoda.
Hare Krishna Kirtida Sundari Devi Dasi Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for your services. And every day you join. So inspiring. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam to you and all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Shri Guru and Gauranga. This is Balbhadra from Calgary.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for joining. Balbhadracharya Prabhuji, sorry. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all the devotees assembled. This is Anita Ramaya from Sharjah, UAE. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji.
This is Ravichandra, Hyderabad.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining and for your services.
Start, Mataji.
Sure. So today, before we start, I would like to read our Srila Prabhupada's quote, January 18. I don't say follow me, I say follow Krishna. Krishna says surrender unto me, I say surrender unto Krishna. Is there any difference? My position is simply repeating because Krishna says, anyone who preaches this confidential subject matter, he is dear to me. Hawaii, January 18, 1971. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So yeah. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa Group. Today we are so fortunate to have His Grace Arjun Sakha Das Prabhuji on the topic of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, chapter number 7, verse number 106 to 120. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Shri Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving your very valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening us on this topic of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. I now hand over call to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the warm introduction, and thank you, dear devotees, for very kindly introducing yourselves from different parts of the US, India, and some other parts of the world also. This morning we will be reading from the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. This is the Madhya Khanda, chapter 7, text 106 through text 120. So let me go ahead and share the screen. We will read the verses and then we will get into the discussion. Again, this is Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Khanda, chapter 7, text 106 onwards. एत भावे गदाधर मुकुंदेर स्थाने दीक्षा करे बार कथा कहिले न ताने. After contemplating in this way, Gadadhar expressed to Mukunda his desire to take initiation from Pundarika Vidhyanidhi. Text 107. শুনিয়া মুকুন্দ বড় সন্তোষ হইলা ভালো ভালো বলি বড় শ্লাঘিতে লাগিলা. Hearing his proposal, Mukunda was greatly satisfied. He glorified that proposal by saying, "Very good, very good." Text 108. प्रहर दुईते विद्यानिधि महाधीर बाह्य पाई वसीलेन हैया सुस्थिर. After 6 hours, the most grave Vidyanidhi regained his external consciousness and sat down peacefully. Purport by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Pundarik Vidhyanidhi was engaged in the service of Hari in an unconscious state for 2 prahars or 15 dandas or 6 hours. When he regained his external consciousness, he became peaceful. Gadadhar Pandit tera nayanera jala anta nahi dhara anga titila sakala. Gadadhar Pandit's unlimited tears made his entire body wet. देखिया संतोष विद्यानिधि महाशय कोले करी धुली लेना आपण हृदय. Seeing this, Vidyanidhi Mahashai was most pleased. He embraced Gadadhar and held him to his chest. Text 111. परम संभ्रमे रहिले न गदाधर मुकुंद कहे न तार मनेरा उतार. As Gadadhar stood there in awe and reverence, Mukunda revealed Gadadhar's mind. व्यवहार ठाकुर व्यवहार ठाकुर न देखिया तो मार पूर्वे किछु चित्त दोष जन्मिला उहान. Doubts arose in his mind when he saw your behavior and opulence. Text 113. एबे तार प्रायश्चित्त चिंतिला आपने मंत्र दीक्षा करीबेन तुम्हारे स्थाने. In order to attain for his offense, he has now decided to take initiation from you. Who is saying this? Mukunda is speaking this to Pundarik Vidhyanidhi on behalf of Gadadhar Pandit. Text 114. विष्णु भक्त विरक्त शैश्व वृद्धरीत माधव मिश्रेर कुल नंदन उचित. He is a renowned devotee. He is a renounced devotee of Vishnu, and since his childhood, he has shown the experience of a matured person. Moreover, he is the qualified son in the family of Madhav Mishra. The phrase Shaishve Vridharita is explained as follows. The nature of a boy is to be attached to playing, and the nature of an old man is to merge in the flow of thought born of experience. Although Gadadhar Pandit Goswami was junior in age, he was from childhood maturely thoughtful. He was maturely thoughtful like an old, experienced person. Text 115. Hishu haite ishwarera sange anuchara guru shishya yogya punda rika gadadhara. He has been a constant companion of the Lord. Yes, sorry, I was muted. He has been a constant companion of the Lord since his childhood. Therefore, Pundarik and Gadadhar make the perfect guru and disciple. Text 116. आपने पूजिया चित्ते एक शुभ दिने निज इष्ट मंत्र दीक्षा कराह इहाने. Please select an auspicious day to initiate him in the mantra of your worshipable Lord. शुनियाः सेना पुण्डरीक विद्यानिधि अमरेता महारत्ना मेलायेला vedhi. On hearing this, Pundarik Vidhyanidhi smiled and said, I have obtained a precious jewel by the arrangement of providence. कराइमो इहाते संदेह के छुनाई बहु जन्म भाग्य से i मत शिष्य पाए. I will certainly initiate him. There is no doubt about it. By the good fortune accumulated in many births, one attains such a disciple. Text 119. ऐजे ऐसे शुक्ल पक्षेरा द्वादशी सर्व शुभ लग्न इति मिली बेक आसी. The most auspicious moment will be found on the next Dvadashi of the waxing moon. Purport: in every month there is one Dvadashi during the waxing moon. In every day, 12 lagnas are found, one after another. In order to point out the particular moment that yields all happiness, the author has used the phrase Sarva Shubha Lagna in this verse. Last verse. Iha te sankalpa siddhi hoye be tomar shuni gatha dhara harshe hoye la namaskar. Your desire will be fulfilled on this day. Hearing this, Gadadhar happily offered him obeisances. Sri Gadadhar Pandit ki jai. Sri Pundarik Vidhyanidhi ki jai. Sri Mukunda, who transcendently holds the hand of Gadadhar and takes him to Pundarik Vidhyanidhi ki jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Before we start, dear devotees, let us chant the Mangalacharan prayers. Seek auspiciousness from our spiritual superiors like Srila Prabhupada, and then get started in our today's discussion. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगे श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। पिण्डाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णुभक्ति प्रते देवी सत्यवक्ते नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनेति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय ददालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। आनंद लीलामय विग्रहाय हेमावदिव्य छवि सुंदराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रसप्रदाय चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते। चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते। चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते। नित्यानन्दमहं नौमि सर्वानन्दकरं परं हरिनाम प्रदं देवम् अवधूत शिरोमणि। श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय। अवधूत शिरोमणि श्री नित्यानंद राम की जय। समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for very kindly assembling and joining on the Zoom call to discuss about Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates, primarily that of Gadadhar Pandit's desire to take initiation from the very exalted Shri Pundarika Vidhyanidhi. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, in his Kalyana Kalpataru, from where many of the songs originate. Many of the songs that we sing have their origin in Kalyana Kalpataru, a book by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. There very beautifully explains, Shuno he rasika jan, Krishna guna aganan, Ananta kahite nahi pare, Krishna jagatera guru, Krishna vancha kalpataru, Navika se bhava parabare. Our Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Shuno he Rasika Jan, that those who are Rasika, those who are interested to hear about Krishna, not just Krishna, but also Krishna Chaitanya, that is Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Those who want to hear and those who are interested to hear about Krishna and Gauranga Mahaprabhu, what is Bhaktivinoda Thakur saying? Ananta kahite nahi pare. Oh, the pastimes, the Nam Rup Gunalila of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. This is like an ocean. How much can anyone speak about it? It's like a bird trying to span the dimensions of the sky, or it's like a fish trying to swim the length and breadth of the ocean. How much can a conditioned living entity speak about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Not possible. How much ever he tries, kuch na kuch to chutega hi. Something or the other will be left. So we, with our limited abilities, cannot fully describe Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Nor can we fully describe Krishna, and nor can we fully describe their associates. It's beyond human ability. But who is that Krishna or Krishna Chaitanya? Krishna Jagatera Guru. He's Jagatera Guru. Krishna Mande Jagat Guru, we say. Right? Krishna is Krishna Mande Jagat Guru. But who is the Guru Dev of even Krishna? It is Srimati Radharani. Krishna is Krishna Mande Jagat Guru, but his Guru is Srimati Radharani. But Krishna Jagatera Guru, Krishna Vancha Kalpataru. Krishna may be Jagatera Guru, but he's also Vancha Kalpataru. He is like a wish fulfilling desire tree. Anyone who goes to Krishna with anything that they have in their heart, Krishna fulfills their desire. Navika se bhava parabare. Krishna is like that boatman. He drives the boat, he rows the boat. And by the help of Krishna, we can cross over ocean of material existence. Krishna says this clearly even in the Bhagavad Gita. that crossing over the ocean of material existence is practically impossible without his help. How much ever sadhana we do, how much ever chanting of the holy name we do, and how much ever whatever association we take, without his kripa, without his mercy, there is no way we can cross over this ocean. Even if your mother Yashoda, you may have Krishna in front of you and you may try to tie, but till the time Krishna doesn't shower his mercy, even mother Yashoda cannot tie Krishna. So what to speak of personalities like all of us? If mother Yashoda needs Krishna's mercy to tie Krishna, then we definitely need Krishna's mercy to tie Krishna in our heart. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur is saying in this way. सुनो हे रसिक जान कृष्ण गुण आगनन अनंत कहित नहीं पारे कृष्ण जगतेरा गुरु कृष्ण वांछा कल्पतरो नाविक सभव परबारे. Now comes the important point. हृदय पीडित जार कृष्ण चिकित्सकतार भवरोग Nasi Paparabare. Our Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Hridaya Pidita Jar, those who have disease of the heart, Hridaya Daurbalyam, those who have disease of the heart, weakness of the heart, those who cannot refrain themselves from sense gratification, which most practitioners have this problem. Hridaya Daurbalyam. The heart is very weak. We hear, but after class, एक कान से सुनते हैं दूसरे कान से निकल जाता है. The moment class is done, the moment we are away from the association of devotees, Maya catches us completely. So that is weakness of the heart. So here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Hridaya Pidita Jar, Krishna Chikitsa Katar, those who have disease of the heart, if we pray to Krishna or Krishna Chaitanya, oh, he is Chikitsaka, which means he is the doctor. Chikitsaka really means psychiatrist. He is the person who's going to treat us mentally and also physically. And by treating us physically and mentally, and in and out completely, he will help us cross over this ocean of material existence. So to speak about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or to speak about his associates, is very, very difficult without being the recipients of the mercy of the Supreme Lord and his associates. So even before we attempt to start our conversation, I would very humbly want to bow down at the lotus feet of Gadadhar Pandit, at the lotus feet of Pundarika Vidhyanidhi, at the lotus feet of Mukunda, who holds the hand of Gadadhar and takes him to Pundarika Vidhyanidhi, and ultimately to Shachinandan Gauranga Mahaprabhu, based on whom the whole Chaitanya Bhagavat and the Chaitanya Charitamrita and the Chaitanya Mangal and so many other books are based. To all these personalities, we offer our humble obeisances a millions of times. We see in this section, Pundarik Vidhyanidhi has just come back to consciousness after 6 hours. 6 hours he was unconscious. We can, our 6 hours is only as far as sleeping is concerned. We sleep for 6 hours, sometimes more than 6 hours also. And here is Pundarik Vidhyanidhi, who was so ecstatic that for 6 hours he was down to the ground and rolling to the ground and practically tearing his upper cloth. Why? Because he heard one verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam, the famous verse of how Krishna delivered Putana. Just hearing this verse of how Krishna delivered Putana and how merciful our Krishna is. Krishna is very, very merciful. Parama Udara Prabha Apara Ati Sukumara Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Shri Krishna. Parama Udara. Krishna is very, very compassionate. Very, very kind and very, very compassionate. And he is delivering a demon who practically came to kill him. And how young was Krishna? Krishna doesn't get old. How young was Krishna? Krishna was just 6 days. Krishna not just delivers her, but also gives her a spiritual body. And we will come to this later. Krishna gives her a spiritual body as that of a mother. Dhatri, leve gatim dhatri muchitam tatonyam. And Krishna thinks this is uchit. Ye uchit hai. I'm not being biased. This is justice, Krishna says. So hearing the all merciful nature of Krishna, here we find our Pundarik Vidhyanidhi is rolling onto the ground, crying, Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam. Now, very interestingly, if we just analyze this verse of Aho Bakiyam, the question arises, who is Putana? Those who are demigods are called as Sura, and those who are demons are called as Asura. Naturally, means the negation. Those who are demigods are Sura, those who are demons are called as Asura. In the demon category, also those who are cannibals are called as Rakshasas. And in the Rakshasa category, those who are streamlined in killing babies, those who have their forte of killing babies, that category is called as Putana. So Putana is not a name of a person. It is a category. It is the name of a complete school. Like we have Stanford University, Harvard University, Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Bombay, etc. It's a school. Likewise, Putana is a category. Those who have streamlined experience, who have their forte in killing babies are Putana. Now, our Kamsa Maharaj, not our, but Kamsa Maharaj. Those who want to kill Krishna cannot be on our side. So Kamsa Maharaj. Kamsa Maharaj, why did he send Putana? Because here Krishna was a baby and now Putana had expertise in killing babies. So perfect match. He sends Putana. But Kavi Karnapur very beautifully gives another understanding as to why Putana was sent first. There were so many demons. Kamsa had so many demons in his garage. Just like nowadays we find people, those who are very rich, they have many cars in their garage. Likewise, Kamsa Maharaj had many demons. He could practically pick whom he wants to send. So then the question arises, hey, wait a minute. If he has so many demons, why was Putana sent first? Kavi Karnapur very beautifully explains that all the demons who were there, like Agasur, Bakasur, Shakatasur, Trinavarta, Keshi, Vyomasur, etc. All these demons were defeated by Kamsa Maharaj. When Kamsa Maharaj had a battle with them, Kamsa Maharaj defeated all of them except one person, that was Putana. Putana was the only person who was able to defeat Kamsa Maharaj in her strength. So now Kamsa thought to himself, according to the Akashvani, the eighth child is going to kill me, which means the eighth child is more stronger than me. So who is that personality from my army who's more stronger than me? It is Putana. So this is why Kavi Karnapur says Kamsa Maharaj sent his trump card first, Putana, because she is more powerful than me, and this boy apparently is more powerful than me. So if this boy has to be killed, my trump card has to be sent, and that is Putana. Kavi Karnapur says this is why Kamsa Maharaj sent Putana first. But when he saw that Putana was also killed, Kamsa Maharaj got very frantic. And now randomly he started sending demons. And one after another, Krishna was just breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Krishna was killing different demons. Our acharyas explain how did Krishna get to know when is morning and when it is time for afternoon and when it is time for lunch, based on how many demons would come. Every day, practically three demons would come, and Krishna would understand. First demon coming means morning time. Second demon coming means afternoon time. Third demon coming, oh, evening time, day is done. Now time to go back. So this was Krishna's morning, afternoon, evening standard. Of course, there was no concept of clock. So here we find that Putana is being described. And Pundarik Vidhyanidhi is hearing to that verse that Uddhava chanted in the third canto. This verse comes in the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavat. It is actually Uddhava chanting this verse to Maitreya Muni. And that here is being chanted. Pundarik Vidhyanidhi is down to the ground, rolling and tearing his upper cloth, and for 6 hours practically crying out, Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam, Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam. We see from the standpoint of Gadadhar Pandit. Who is Gadadhar Pandit? Yes, Gadadhar Pandit is Srimati Radharani, but Gadadhar Pandit was always very, very devotional. We see that even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Nimai Pandit was argumentative, when he would fight with Keshav Kashmiri, when he would always do debates, the whole of Nadia would be appreciative, except two people, Srivas and Gadadhar. It was only these two people who had a problem with Nimai. They would say, Nimai, Shastra is not meant for arguments. Shastra is not meant for debates. Shastra is meant for developing loving devotion unto Radha and Krishna. Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. It is for the pleasure of Krishna, not for debating and not for showing how much more verses I know and how much more Shastra I know. Eventually, we see that Nimai, when he loses his father Jagannath Mishra, he goes to Gaya to do the final rites, meets his Guru Maharaj Ishwarapuri. And now when he comes back, Nimai is no longer the argumentative Nimai, but he is Bhavuk Nimai. He is completely changed. He's Rasik Nimai. Now bhav, emotions are flowing in his heart. Kiba mantra dila gosai, kiba tara bal, japite mantra karela pagal. He tells Ishwarapuri, his Guru Maharaj, my dear Gurudev, what kind of mantra have you given me? Japite mantra karela pagal. I am chanting this mantra and I am going crazy. I am going mad. What kind of mantra is this? When Ishwarapuri heard this, he looked at Nimai and said, good. Keep chanting this way. Because this is the effect of chanting the mantras. Keep chanting this way, and you will very soon get Krishna. When Nimai came back, he met Sri Ram Pandit, the brother of Srivas. The four brothers, Srivas, Sri Ram, Sripati, and Sri Nidhi. When he met Sri Ram Pandit asked him, Nimai, how was your Gaya trip? And Nimai couldn't even speak. Tears were just flowing from his eyes. Nimai called all his associates to the house of Shuklambar Brahmachari. All of them went to the house of Shuklambar Brahmachari. And the moment Nimai entered into the house, he saw everyone with tilak. He saw everyone with kanthimala. He saw everyone was chanting. And that Nimai could not hold on to himself. There was a bamboo that was holding on to the whole house of Shuklambar Brahmachari. Nimai held onto that bamboo and just came crashing down. Seeing Tilak and Kanti, he was reminded of Krishna. And loudly Nimai was chanting, Ha ha Krishna, tumi gela kathi. Ha ha Krishna, tumi gela kathi. Oh Krishna, where did you go? You gave me spurti in my heart. You gave me little spurti, but where did you go, Krishna? And he fell down to the ground. And after many hours, Nimai Pandit, who's no longer a Pandit, but who is now Bhavuk Nimai, Rasik Nimai, came back to external consciousness. And as he came to external consciousness, the whole room was quiet, but there was sobbing to be heard in that room. There was someone sobbing. And Nimai looked around and said, is there anyone else also in this room? And they said, yes, my dear Lord. Nimai said, who? Who is that person who's sobbing? I can hear, but I cannot see the person. They said, my dear Lord, it is Gadadhar. Gadadhar Pandit was standing behind a door, and in that door there was a small eye hole. So from that he was seeing what is happening because he didn't want to come face to face in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in front of Nimai. So he was seeing, and to see his Nimai completely transformed and cry for Krishna. This is all that Gadadhar ever wanted. Satatam pranaya shrudharam. Constantly there were tears flowing from his eyes. And Gadadhar was seeing and he was sobbing. And here was Nimai who opened the door and went and saw Gadadhar. And Gadadhar was sitting down and now crying. And Mahaprabhu went and embraced Gadadhar and said, my dear Gadadhar, you were always devotional. I was into debates and arguments, but you were always devotional. My dear Gadadhar, can you help me get Krishna in my life? So that Gadadhar who is already so glorious that Nimai is going to him to get Krishna in his life. That Gadadhar is now going to Pundarik Vidhyanidhi for Diksha. Seeing the disciple, we can understand how glorious the Guru Maharaj is, correct? When we see the disciples of Prabhupada, we understand how glorious Prabhupada would have been. Because many of us have not seen Prabhupada through our naked eye. It's only through photos and videos and books. And seeing Prabhupada, we can understand how glorious Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is. And seeing Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we understand how glorious Srila Gaur Kishoredas Babaji is. And that's how the Sampradaya goes. So seeing the disciple, you understand how great the Guru Maharaj is. So seeing Gadadhar, who's already crying for Krishna, who's already so glorious that Nimai is going to him to get Krishna in his life, that Gadadhar is now humbly approaching Pundarik Vidhyanidhi for initiation. This speaks about the glories of Pundarik Vidhyanidhi. We don't have to separately speak about Pundarik Vidhyanidhi. Speaking about Gadadhar's glories, naturally we understand the glories of Srila Pundarik Vidhyanidhi. So here, when Gadadhar goes to Pundarik Vidhyanidhi for Diksha, it is a disciple, very humbly, aspiring disciple, not even a disciple, it's an aspiring disciple, going to Pundarik Vidhyanidhi for Diksha. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have a very beautiful story, a tale of two disciples. We have Madhavendra Puri, the famous Madhavendra Puri, for whom the Supreme Lord stole and kept kheer behind his altar. That Madhavendra Puri has two disciples. One is Ishwara Puri and second is Ramchandra Puri. Now both are completely different. Ishwara Puri shows by example how to be, and Ramchandra Puri shows by example how not to be. Both are completely different. Ishwara Puri is always menially serving Madhavendra Puri. Whatever Madhavendra Puri wants, Ishwara Puri is always ready to serve, always by his bedside. And Ramchandra Puri is exact opposite, always commenting, always criticizing, always fault finding. So much so that he criticizes and fault finds even his Guru Maharaj. This is height of Vaishnava Aparad. This is Guru Aparad. We normally say we should not even criticize Vaishnavas. What to speak of Guru Maharaj? We don't criticize Guru Maharaj. We don't fault find Guru Maharaj. In fact, there is no fault in Guru Maharaj. It is our contaminated eyes that apparently we see different faults. But actually, Sri Guru and those who are very exalted, they have no faults. But if someone has the vision of Shishupal, then well, he can find faults even in Krishna, who is a doshadarshi. Likewise, Guru is also without dosha. He has no faults. When Madhavendra Puri was in his departing phase, at that time he was completely absorbed in Radha and Krishna. And the verse that Radharani chanted when she was in separation from Krishna, Ay Deena Dayadra Nata He Madhura Nata Kadavya Lokase. It was Radharani who chanted this verse in separation from Krishna. Madhavendra Puri was now chanting this verse, remembering the verse that Radharani chanted. And Ishwara Puri, he is very good disciple could understand this. And Ishwara Puri was now helping Madhavendra Puri and trying to increase the rasa, trying to increase the mood for his Guru Maharaj. And here is Ramchandra Puri. Ramchandra Puri looks at his Gurudev, Madhavendra Puri, and says, Hey, what is all this? You should think about Brahman. Brahman is the absolute. What you're thinking about all this Radha Krishna, this is not correct. You should think about Brahman. Guru Maharaj is in the departing phase. Mind is fully absorbed. And here is Ramchandra Puri comes and gives his comment when no one asked him. Madhavendra Puri gets so angry that he chastises him. And Madhavendra Puri practically tells the Lord, My dear Lord, I am now in the departing phase, and what has happened? Here is one disciple, Ishwara Puri, who has completely surrendered his heart to me. Diksha gale bhakta kare atma samarpan. Diksha means the devotee completely surrenders his heart to his Gurudev. And here is Ishwara Puri who has done it. And here is Ramchandra Puri. Madhavendra Puri is thinking, how did he even get Diksha? He is criticizing and commenting and finding faults in me, and that too when I am departing this world. He chastises him. Madhavendra Puri chastises his disciple Ramchandra Puri and sends him out. What is the lesson we learned, dear devotees? Ramchandra Puri tries to correct his Guru Maharaj, which is Guru Aparad, which is Vaishnava Aparad. But on the flip side, we see now Gadadhar Pandit. Now we are taking two pastimes. Here is Ramchandra Puri correcting his Guru Maharaj. And here is now Gadadhar Pandit. If we see in this section, even Gadadhar Pandit had doubts. When he saw Pundarika Vidhyanidhi ecstatic, even Gadadhar Pandit had doubts. But Gadadhar Pandit doesn't speak anything. He just keeps his mouth. He just keeps quiet. He doesn't speak anything. This is something that we learn from Gadadhar. On one side is Ramchandra Puri commenting and fault finding, criticizing, and after which there is a downfall of Ramchandra Puri. So much so that when Mahaprabhu is there in Jagannath Puri and honoring Prasadam, our Ramchandra Puri goes and criticizes even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It starts with Guru Maharaj, then goes and criticizes even the Supreme Lord. And here is Gadadhar Pandit, who doesn't speak anything. Even he has doubts. Even he has doubts, but he doesn't speak anything. And because he controls, because he does Vacho Vegam, he follows Rupa Goswami, controls his mouth, controls his speech, controls his tongue. He becomes the recipient of Pundarik Vidhyanidhi's mercy. And Gadadhar Pandit makes so much progress to the extent when Mahaprabhu is there in Jagannath Puri, in Gambhira, it is our Gadadhar Pandit who would read Bhagavatam for him at Tota Gopinath. Just by keeping his mouth quiet, just by not speaking anything, he becomes the recipient of Pundarik Vidhyanidhi, his Guru Maharaj. This is an important lesson we learn. Even if we see anything wrong, apparently, in any devotee, any god brother, or whoever it is better to keep quiet. If they come and ask us, then probably we can speak. But if no one has asked us, there is no need to go and give our comment. अपनी टिप्पणी देने की जरूरत नहीं है. Because that devotee who's there, he has his Gurudev, he has his Siksha Guru also. They will correct him. We don't have to go when we are not even asked. So this is Diksha Guru. You have the tale of two disciples. Madhavendra Puri is the Guru Maharaj, and you have Ishwara Puri who teaches how to be, and Ramchandra Puri who teaches how not to be. And then we compare Ramchandra Puri and Gadadhar Pandit. Now this is as far as Diksha Guru is concerned. But is Siksha Guru also important? Is the concept of Siksha Guru also important? Of course. Chaitanya Charitamrita explains Shiksha Guru te jani ei Krishna era swarup, antaryami bhakta sreshta ei dvirup. Who is Siksha Guru? Oh well, Siksha Guru is not different from Krishna. Just like Diksha Guru is not different from Krishna, Siksha Guru is also not different from Krishna. What is the example we see of Siksha? In our Sampradaya itself, we see we have Gauridas Pandit. Who is Gauridas Pandit? Subal Sakha. Krishna's very, very dear friend. Subal Sakha. That Subal Sakha comes down as Gauridas Pandit. Disciple of Gauridas Pandit is Hriday Chaitanya, in whose heart Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jumped. Hriday Chaitanya. Now, Gauridas Pandit, the Guru Maharaj, is in Sakhya Bhav, Sakhya Ras. Hriday Chaitanya, the disciple, is also in Sakhya Ras. Who is the disciple of Hriday Chaitanya? Shyamananda Prabhu. But Shyamananda Prabhu is not in Sakhya Ras. He is in Madhurya Ras. So, Gauridas Pandit is in Sakhya Ras. Hriday Chaitanya is in Sakhya Ras. But the disciple Shyamananda Prabhu is not in Sakhya but is in Madhurya Ras. He's in Madhurya Ras. And this is why we see Hriday Chaitanya, the Guru Maharaj, sends Shyamananda Prabhu. He gives him Diksha, but sends Shyamananda Prabhu to a Siksha Guru, that is Jiva Goswami. Why? Because Jiva Goswami is also in Madhurya Ras. Guru Maharaj Hriday Chaitanya understood that his disciple Shyamananda is in Madhurya, and now he has to associate with another devotee whose mood aligns to that of Shyamananda Prabhu. And who better than Jiva Goswami, who's also in Madhurya? This is why Shyamananda Prabhu, although he was disciple of Hriday Chaitanya, all his life stayed and took Siksha from Jiva Goswami. Why? Because Jiva Goswami is also in Madhurya Ras. So this concept of Siksha, importance of Siksha, we find in our Sampradaya itself. Another example, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the disciple of Ishwara Puri. Madhavendra Puri, Ishwara Puri, and then we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu takes from Ishwara Puri. But that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's the disciple of Ishwara Puri, again to get Shiksha, he goes all the way to Ramananda Rai. Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri. Mahaprabhu could have taken Shiksha from Swarup Damodar Goswami also. Why? Because Swarup Damodar Goswami is present in Jagannath Puri, while Ramananda Rai is there in South India. Why will you walk all the way to South India to take Shiksha when you can take from Swarup Damodar Goswami, who's there in Jagannath Puri? And during those days, you do not have Indigo Airlines, you do not have Vistara, you don't have these flights. It's not that Mahaprabhu hopped onto a flight and went to South India. You have to walk. So why is Mahaprabhu taking the pains of walking all the way from Jagannath Puri to South India to win Ramananda Rai, when that same thing can be heard from Swarup Damodar, who's there in Jagannath Puri? Well, the understanding is Mahaprabhu comes down to this world to experience Radha Bhav, to experience the mood of Srimati Radharani. And who's Swarup Damodar Goswami? Lalita Sakhi. Who's Ramananda Rai? Vishaka Sakhi. Between Lalita Sakhi and Vishaka Sakhi, who's that person who aligns closely to the mood of Radharani? It is Vishaka Sakhi. Why? Because Vishaka Sakhi appeared on the same day, pretty much at the same time as that of Srimati Radharani. So their astrological chart is also same, which means their tendencies are same, which means how they think and how they act are also same. So if Mahaprabhu wants to taste the mood of Radharani, he has to associate with a person whose mood is very similar to Radharani, and that is Vishaka Sakhi, who is Ramananda Rai. This is why Mahaprabhu to take Shiksha doesn't go to Swarup Damodar, even though Swarup Damodar is Lalita Sakhi, but walks all the way to Ramananda Rai. Why? Because he is Vishaka Sakhi. So another example of Shiksha. In fact, our whole sampradaya we find more than Diksha sampradaya, it's more of a Shiksha sampradaya. So many examples of where Shiksha is given more priority than Diksha. So not just Diksha Guru is important, Shiksha Guru is also important. And here, our Gadadhar Pandit has now taken the first step of accepting Pundarika Vidhyanidhi as his Diksha Guru. Now we see in this verse of Aho Bakiyam, there are 2 points that are mentioned. First is the merciful nature of Krishna, as we discussed. But second is a very interesting point, and that is how Krishna awarded a spiritual body to Putana. Lebe gatim dhatri muchitam tatonyam kamba dayalum sharanam brajema. Krishna awards a spiritual body. And what is that spiritual body? Dhatri, that of a mother, that of a nurse. Even till this date, Putana is serving under the guidance of Mother Yasoda in the mood of Vatsalya Bhav. Now she got a spiritual body. By associating with Krishna, she got a spiritual body. And now we see this point of spiritual body is such. Many times, Srila Prabhupada himself, in his room conversations, in his classes, brought this point of attaining spiritual body, or as to how the perfection of Krishna consciousness is spiritual body. And there are a few conversations I would just like to read, which I came across. Srila Prabhupada very beautifully in one conversation, this is in Los Angeles, 1969. Srila Prabhupada says, liberation means you are immediately transferred to the spiritual world and you get your spiritual body. Another conversation, again in Los Angeles, 1969. This is a Bhagavatam class. As soon as you become purified from this material existence, then you enter into the spiritual kingdom and you get your body, spiritual body, Satchitananda Vigraha, and live there eternally in full knowledge and bliss. Third conversation, where Prabhupada is again talking about spiritual body. This is a conversation. Prabhupada is saying, as soon as you enter in the spiritual world, you have a spiritual body. Disciple. I want to know, does it satisfy our spiritual senses when we serve Krishna and Krishna Loka? Now look at Prabhupada's reply. Srila Prabhupada says, yes. You dance with Krishna, you eat with Krishna, you talk with Krishna, you enjoy with Krishna, and Krishna will kiss you also. Krishna is very kind to everyone. Either you love him as a lover Either you love him as your son, either you love him as your friend, or you love him as your master. In whichever way you like, you can love, Krishna will respond. This is a room conversation. So we will find many more such conversations where Prabhupada actually spoke about attaining spiritual body, as to how the perfection of Krishna consciousness is attaining spiritual body. Narottam Das Thakur in Prem Bhakti Chandrika very beautifully explains. युगल चरण सेवी निरंतर ए भावे अनुराग था कि वो सदाया साधना भावी वो जहा सिद्ध देह पावतहा राग पतेर ऐसे उपाय. What is Narottam Das Thakur saying? Prem Bhakti Chandrika has all the verses are Tripadi. Tripadi means three stanzas, three stanzas. Even our prasadam prayers are Tripadi. Charira vidyajal jodendriya tahekal jive phele vishaya sagare tara madhya jivayati lobhamaya sudurmati take jita kotina samsare. Krishna Vadadoyamai Kori Bara Jibajai. So these are all three padis. So likewise, Prem Bhakti Chandrika, all the verses are three padis. What is Narottam Das Thakur saying? Jugala Charana Sevi Nirantara Ei Bhavi Anurage Thakibo Sadaya. That with love and affection, when I will serve the Lord in my mind, eternally I will serve the Lord in my mind by serving their lotus feet. Yugala Charana Sevi. I will serve the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. And how will I do it? With anurag, with love and affection. Sadhana bhavi bo jaha. This will be part of my sadhana, he says. Sadhana bhavi bo jaha. And we're following this sadhana of remembering the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna and mentally serving the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Siddha deha pavataha. Narottam Das Thakur says, by doing this, one will attain Siddha deha, which means spiritual body. How? By mentally serving the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Raga Pathera Aise Upaya. He says this is the path of Rag Bhakti or the path of Raganuga Bhakti. Spontaneously serving the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, which will yield the fruit of that is Siddha Deha Pavataha. One will attain spiritual body. Just like Putana attained spiritual body. So how can we attain? We don't want to go and give poison to Krishna. That is not the way we want to attain our spiritual body. How can we attain a spiritual body? Narottam Das Thakur says, oh, by remembering constantly the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. So by doing this, one gets spiritual body is explained. Of course, now there is many more topics that we can discuss in this, but not getting into those details. Narottam Das Thakur says, Raga Patera Aise Upay. This is the path of Rag. Now, Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu explains three things. Rag, Ragatmika, and Raganuga. And all three mean different. Rag means love. Like we say Srimati Radharani, Radha. Ra stands for Rag and Dha stands for Dhavati. That personality who is impelled by Rag and now is Dhavati running towards Krishna to be with Krishna is Radha. Ra stands for Rag. Rag means love. Second is Ragatmika. Ragatmika are the eternal associates of the Supreme Lord, like Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, Subal, Sridham, Madhumangal, Stoka Krishna, Lavanga, Kinkini, Dham, Sudam, Vasudam, hmm, Lalita Sakhi, Vishaka Sakhi, Induleka, Rangadevi, Sudevi, Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, Kasturi Manjari, Vilasa Manjari, Ananga Manjari, etc. These are all Ragatmika Bhaktas. So Rag means love. Ragatmika are the eternal Nitya Siddha associates. And Raganuga are personalities who desire to follow in the footsteps of the Ragatmika Bhaktas to attain a particular mood. Sadhakas of this world who follow in the footsteps of the Ragatmika Bhaktas to attain a particular cherished mood in Vrindavan are Raganuga. Rupa Goswami explains all three mean different. And this is explained in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in more elaborate detail. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also we find there are so many examples of personalities who attained spiritual bodies in the Bhagavatam. The reason we are talking about spiritual bodies, again to reiterate, is in this verse of Aho Bakiyam that inspired Pundarika Vidhyanidhi. The merciful nature of Krishna is described, and as to how Putana attained a spiritual body is described. So now we are talking about the spiritual body aspect, which is now present even in Srimad Bhagavatam. The first example is from the first canto itself, Narada Muni. Narada Muni, when he's speaking to Vyasadeva, he explains as to how earlier he was a young boy and then he was serving the Bhakti Vedantas, and then his mother was bit by the snake. Long story short, we all know the story. And eventually, by serving the Bhakti Vedantas, he walks towards the north, has the darshan of the Supreme Lord. And then Narad Muni explains when he gives up that body, immediately he gets the body of Narada Muni by serving the Bhakti Vedantas, where indirectly it is mentioned that earlier he was a young boy, but now he got a transcendental spiritual body by service to spiritual devotees or sadhus in the form of Bhakti Vedantas. So Narad Muni's life is the first example where the concept of attaining a spiritual body has been explained. Second example we find is that, of course, of Putana in the third canto where Uddhav is speaking to Maitreya Muni, where Putana is now getting a spiritual body that as that of a mother. Lebe gatim dhatri muchitam tuthonim. The third example is that of Ajamil. Ajamil lived 80 years, and all those 80 years were horrific, sinful life. He started a little bad, but after that, the graph just went downwards. It was down. And we see later, he goes to Haridwar and does bhajan there, does intense japa, intense chanting, and then the Vishnu Dutas come and they take Ajamil away. Earlier, the Yamadutas came, but now after purification, the Vishnu Dutas come and they take Ajamil back to the spiritual world. And now when Ajamil immediately goes to the spiritual world, he has, it is explained, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. He gets a four-handed form. Bhagavata very beautifully it says, this is Canto 6, Chapter 2, Text 43. Hitva kalevaram tirthe gangayam darshanadanu satyah swarupam jagrehe bhagavat parshvavartinam. Now look at Prabhupada's purport. This is Canto 6, Chapter 2, Text 43. Prabhupada very beautifully in the pastime of Ajamil here is writing. The result of perfection in Krishna consciousness is that after giving up one's material body, one is immediately transferred to the spiritual world in one's original spiritual body. Again, the point of spiritual body is brought. Some devotees go to Vaikuntha and other devotees go to Golok Vrindavan to become the associate of Krishna. Now, Srinath Chakravarti, who is the associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very beautifully when he comments to this verse of Ajamil, in the third line, the phrase that is used is Sadhya Swarupam Jagrehe. He says the word Sadhya means seamless transfer. Immediately. What happened immediately? Sadhya Swarupam. There was a seamless transfer of material body to spiritual body. Immediately. There was no lagging. Like YouTube sometimes lags. There is buffering. There was no buffering and no lagging. Immediately the material body was given up and he was given a spiritual body. So Srinath Chakravarti says there was no lag. Sadhya Swarupam Jagrehe. Immediately a spiritual body was given to Ajamil. Even though earlier he was demoniac and he did so many sinful activities, but by purification of chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Haridwar, Sadhya Swarupam Jagrehe, there was a seamless transfer as to how he got a spiritual body from a material body. Ajamil is another example. So we spoke about Narad Muni, we spoke about Putana, we spoke about Ajamil. Now Krishna up until this time is giving mercy to human-like personalities, is giving mercy to demons. Now he goes one notch higher. Now he gives mercy to four-legged Pashu, to Gajendra. Gajendra is a four-legged animal. Gajendra, he prays to the Supreme Lord. Again, the same point. Gajendra prays for two things. One is to relieve him from the danger of that is that of a crocodile. And second, Gajendra prays for a spiritual body. In the eighth canto again of the Srimad Bhagavatam, very beautifully it is explained. Yam dharma kama vimukti kama bhajanta ishtam gatimapnuvanti kim cha shishorakti api deham avyayam karo tume dabradayo vimokshanam. Prabhupada writes, Yam dharma kamartha vimukti kamam. Gajendra is telling the Lord, my dear Lord, so many people come to you. And what do they pray? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. They pray for economic development, they pray for money, they pray for moksha. My dear Lord, this is what everyone prays. And you are so kind, you award them that. Whatever material desires they have, you award them that. But my dear Lord, sometimes I have seen, Gajendra is saying, my dear Lord, sometimes I have seen you give them spiritual body also. Now the question arises, who is Gajendra talking about? There is something that is going on in Gajendra's mind. That is why he's giving this example. He says, my dear Lord, sometimes people come for dharma, artha, kama, moksha, and you give them that, but you give them spiritual body also. Question arises, who is Gajendra talking about? Prabhupada and the Purport writes, Gajendra is talking about Dhruva Maharaj. Because Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest for what? He went to the forest for having a kingdom greater than that of his father and forefathers. And sure enough, when Vishnu or Krishna came down, that desire was fulfilled. But when the conch shell also touched Dhruva Maharaj, he got a spiritual body. So Gajendra says, my dear Lord, yes, Dhruva Maharaj came to you with material desire, but you gave him spiritual body also. My dear Lord, I am also asking the same thing. I am also having a danger, a material danger. So I am asking you to protect me from the material danger. At the same time, my dear Lord, there is a track history of giving or granting spiritual bodies in the past to Dhruva. Likewise, my dear Lord, Api Deham Abhyayam. I also want spiritual body. You please give me this benediction that you free me from this crocodile and also give me a spiritual body. Api Deham Abhyayam. And what does Krishna do? Krishna fulfills his desire. Krishna uplifts him from the bite, from the jaws of the crocodile. But at the same time, Prabhupada explains Gajendra got Sarupya Mukti. He got liberation where his form was identical to that of Vishnu, where he was having Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, and now he was wearing yellow garments, and he was taken to Vaikuntha Loka. So again, Prabhupada himself in the Bhagavatam is saying as to how someone had danger but pleaded to the Lord and got spiritual body. So what are the examples? We started with Narad Muni. Then we went to Putana. Then we spoke about Ajamal. Now, then Krishna's expanding his mercy now to even animal species. And we spoke about Gajendra. In this way, we find there are so many examples. And in fact, in this Gajendra pastime, Prabhupada writes a very, very beautiful purport. Very beautiful purport. And that is Canto 8, Chapter 4, Text 6. Please read this purport after we finish our discussion. It's a very beautiful purport. In essence, Prabhupada very beautifully. When I read it, I was thinking it's only a pure devotee like Prabhupada who can do such a connection. Srila Prabhupada says that just like the Supreme Lord touched Dhruva Maharaj through his conch shell, the Lord touched the gross body of Dhruva Maharaj and awarded him. That touch immediately awarded Dhruva Maharaj's spiritual form. Second example, the Lord touched the body of Gajendra and immediately awarded him a spiritual form. Prabhupada says this is why Archan Paddhati or deity worship is important. Why? Because in deity worship, constantly we are touching the form of the Lord. And just like Dhruva Maharaj touched the Lord, just like Gajendra touched the Lord and got their original spiritual body back, Prabhupada says, similarly in Kali, when we touch the deity form and do Archan Paddhati, do deity worship, that day is not far when we will also get our spiritual body back. Prabhupada writes this in the purport. And what a beautiful connection. He brings deity worship from the pastime of Dhruva, from the pastime of Gajendra, as to how important worshipping deities in Kali Yuga are. So we see in this way, there are so many more examples that Bhagavatam gives as to how sadhakas or practitioners, by worshipping the Supreme Lord, by doing deity worship, got their eternal body back. So our goal is to get our spiritual bodies back. And that, Srila Prabhupada himself, he says, the perfection of Krishna consciousness is to get spiritual body. But how do we get that? In Kali, we get that by doing deity worship, Archan Paddhati, like the way Prabhupada explains. And of course, by the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and by associating with the sadhus. And while we are doing deity worship, where should the mind be? Our mind, like the Brajavasis, should be in remembering the name, form, pastimes, and qualities of Krishna. Srila Jiva Goswami explains there are 5 progressive steps of smarana. First, it starts with smaran. Smaran means there is recollection of different pastimes of the Lord, but it is very sporadic. It's not continuous. It's very, very sporadic. That's smarana. Second is dharana. Dharana means we try to take our mind away from distractions and try to go a little more deeper in our meditation of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. We try to hold dharana. We try to hold them in our mind, but somehow we can't hold it for longer durations. First is smarana. Second is dharana. Third is dhyana. Dhyana, Srila Jiva Goswami explains now this is refined, more purified, and this is concentrated. Longer duration of meditation on the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. We are now able to think our mind, we are able to absorb our mind in longer durations about the beautiful pastimes of Krishna, about the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, about the pastimes of Srimati Radharani, etc. This is third. Fourth, higher stage is Dhruvanusmriti. Dhruvanusmriti is that stage Srila Jiva Goswami explains where now our mind is absorbed so much on the pastimes of Radha and Krishna that there is no interruption. It is like Ganga. It is like Yamuna. It is flowing. Uninterrupted flow of nectar. It is constantly going. Just like Ganga or Yamuna, they don't stop. They're constantly flowing. Even if you keep a rock, they will flow. Similarly, even if there is a rock-like impediment in the life of the practitioner, those who are in the stage of Dhruvanusmriti, like Ganga and Yamuna, Radha Krishna pastimes will be flowing in their mind. No, nothing stopping them. That is the fourth. And the fifth is Samadhi. The final stage is Samadhi. Samadhi is that stage where you're now thinking about the pastimes of Radha and Krishna to the extent you're not just thinking, but you're also having darshan of Radha and Krishna. You're actually able to see the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. That's the Samadhi stage. Jiva Goswami says these are the 5 progressive steps of Smaran. First is Smaran, then is Dharana, then is Dhyana, then Dhruvanusmriti, and then Samadhi. So what is one thing that we can do from today? What is the baby step that we can take from today? The baby step that we can take is we can start from Smarana. At least 10 minutes in a day, we can take out time to sit down and think about the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Just like we give time for chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, let us take this time to sit down and think about the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, about Nityananda Prabhu, about Radha and Krishna, or any pastime from the Srimad Bhagavat, slowly trying to absorb the mind in the Supreme Lord. One devotee was telling me, disciple of Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj, in 2004, Maharaj took disciples to Vrindavan Yatra, the famous Vrindavan Yatra in 2004, where Maharaj in Man Mandir became completely ecstatic. His kirtan of Man Mandir is still there on YouTube, where Maharaj is singing Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Sham. For hours, Maharaj was just singing and completely mad in ecstasy. So in that yatra, this devotee was telling me after the yatra ended, Srila Radhanath Maharaj told his disciples, and this is an instruction not to just to his disciples, but anyone who wants to make advancement. Maharaj said, that we don't know when we are again going to come back to Vrindavan. And it's possible that we may never come back to Vrindavan. Probably this 2004 Yatra is the last time we are coming to Vrindavan. But now that we go back to whichever place, wherever we are, whether it's America, whether it is anywhere in India, whichever place, Srila Radhanath Maharaj said, every day in the morning before you start your day, 10 minutes sit down and mentally go through the whole of Vrindavan, the different places that you visited. Chiksoli Gaon, Dabara Gaon, Ucha Gaon, Man Mandir, Gevarwan, Radharaman Mandir, our Krishna Balaram Mandir, etc. Mentally sit down and go through different places. And whatever katha I have spoken, Maharaj said, whatever katha I have spoken, sit down and remember that katha. And in this way, you will always be in Vrindavan. This was Maharaj's instruction. That devotee is one of the temple presidents in North America, and he told me this. And he said, Maharaj gave this instruction in 2004. Prabhuji, it's been 20 years. I am still following that every day. Every day when he gets up, in the morning, 10 minutes, he closes his eyes. And whatever katha Maharaj spoke in that yatra, and wherever Maharaj took, he remembers that. So this is something that we can do. This is start of smarana. And this is Shastri. This is Jiva Goswami is explaining in his works. And finally, to wrap up, dear devotees, there are so many examples of personalities who are absorbed in remembering the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in their spiritual bodies. So we spoke about spiritual bodies, and then we spoke about smarana. Now we'll combine both of them as to how personalities were doing smaran, or in fact they were doing samadhi, where they were seeing Radha Krishna pastimes in their spiritual bodies. The famous example is that of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, our Prayojanacharya. We see Srila Raghunath Das Goswami when he was there in Radhakund, the famous pastime when one time Raghunath Das Goswami fell ill and the doctors came and they checked Nadi, they checked the pulse, and they said, oh, seems like he has eaten a lot of sweet rice. And the locals who were there, they said, sweet rice? No way. He, once in 3 days, he eats. Not even eats, he drinks only buttermilk. Once in 3 days, he eats buttermilk, but all the time he's just in samadhi. So, doctor, I think your analysis is little wrong. He has not eaten sweet rice. The doctor said, no. From his touching his nadi, I can understand he has eaten sweet rice. That's why he's fallen ill. And when Raghunath Das Goswami was asked, he said, yes. Srimati Radharani fed me sweet rice. What can I do? As a servant, as a Manjari maid servant, what can I do? Srimati Radharani came and fed me sweet rice. So I had too much of sweet rice, and because of that, I have fallen ill. So here is an example that we find in our Sampradaya where someone was in Samadhi in their spiritual body and shared his experience of Samadhi and spiritual body as to how later by the sweet rice he fell ill. This is first example, Raghunath Das Goswami. Second, very beautiful example is that of Siddha Krishna Das. Now, Siddha Krishna Das was in Govardhan. He was a Govardhan Vasi. Because these are long discussions, but I'm going to keep it very short. Siddha Krishna Das, who was in Govardhan, one time was in Samadhi. And he was remembering the pastime of Radha and Krishna. And he was practically in the pastime. In his spiritual body, he was there in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And one time, Lalita Sakhi came to him. And Lalita Sakhi asked him for scented oil. And said, Siddha Baba, can you get some oil for Radha and Krishna's Yugal Seva? Siddha Baba said, okay. And he went and got oil. And when he got oil and when he came back, he saw the form of Radha and Krishna. And when he saw the form of Radha and Krishna, he was so ecstatic. His hair was standing on and he was horripilating. So much so that that bottle of oil, that cup of oil that was there in his hand completely fell down to the ground. And when he opened his eyes, when he came out of Samadhi, his whole room had this fragrance of that scented oil. In reality, it was actually in the spiritual world this past was occurring. But when he opened his eyes, his whole room had scented oil. So honeybee like devotees, they started coming and saying, Baba, what is this? We are seeing, we are able to smell nice fragrance. What is this oil? And where did you get it from? And Baba, he said, I am unfit to even do basic menial service to Radha and Krishna. Lalita Sakhi asked me for one service, and that also I'm not able to do. Alas, alas, alas. So here is another example of someone who's in samadhi and in his spiritual body serving Radha and Krishna. Third example, Madhusudan Das. Siddha Madhusudan Das from Suryakund, Vrindavan Dham. These are personalities who were present only maybe 40, 50 years back, dear devotees. We are not talking about personalities who were 1,000, 2,000 years back. People, these were all 40, 50 years personalities. Here was this personality, Siddha Madhusudan Das Baba from Suryakund, Vrindavan Dham. He was one time meditating on the holy pastime of Radha and Govinda. Radha Govinda, holy pastime. And in his meditation, Radharani was asking him for colors. And he was giving colors to Srimati Radharani. And then he was filling the pichkari to Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani with that pichkari was putting it on Krishna. And in the meditation, Siddha Madhusudan Das Baba was seeing all this. And when his meditation broke, all the colors that he had offered to Srimati Radharani was now in his bhajan kutir. His bhajan kutir was completely filled with all different colors, the same colors that he gave Srimati Radharani. This is another example of someone who, in their meditation, in their spiritual bodies, were offering service. They were all in samadhi. But how did the samadhi start? It started with smaran. From smaran, it went to dharana, to dhyana, through dhruvanusmriti, then to samadhi. It starts with smaran, dear devotees. And the last example to conclude our discussion, Narahari Chakravarti, the author of Bhakti Ratnakar. In Bhakti Ratnakar, Narahari Chakravarti speaks about his own dealing. He says, one time, I, Narahari Chakravarti, in my meditation, I offered a golden plate filled with nice bhoga, nice puri, sabji, samosas, everything, in a golden plate to Rupa Goswami's dear Ishtade, that is Radha Govinda. And I offered this mentally. And Rupa Goswami's Radha Govinda were 300 kilometers away. When the pujari was worshipping Radha Govinda 300 kilometers away, suddenly he saw he was also doing Bhoga Puja, Bhoga Arati. Suddenly he saw the same thing that Narahari Sarkar in his meditation had seen or was offering, that was practically seen in front of Radha Govinda. That plate that Narahari Sarkar 300 kilometers away was meditating on was seen in front of Radha Govinda, and he himself writes in Bhakti Ratnakar. And that night, Radha Govinda came in the dream of the pujari, and Radha Govinda, or Krishna, not Radharani, but Krishna was practically patting his belly. And he was saying, today Narahari fed me so much. He is such a good cook and he has fed me too much. Why don't you go and call Narahari so that he comes and cooks here for me every day? So Narahari Sarkar, he writes that as to how Radha Govinda personally, through this pujari, called him for his personal seva, cooking for him. So this is another example, dear devotees, as to how meditation is real and very, very powerful. And it is this meditation and deity worship, 2 points that we discussed. One is deity worship, Archan Paddhati, in connection to Dhruva and Gajendra, and another is meditation, Smarana, Dharana, Dhyana, Dhruvanusmriti, and Samadhi, which eventually leads to getting our original body back, just like Putana got her original body back. So to conclude, here we find Gadadhar when he's speaking, or Mukunda is chanting the words of Aho Baki and glorifying Putana. In Krishna Leela, Putana was instrumental because Radharani was there on a golden lotus. But how did Radharani come on the golden lotus? It was Putana who had dropped Srimati Radharani on the golden lotus. So in Krishna Leela, Putana was instrumental to unite Nanda Maharaj, Vrishabhanu Maharaj, and Srimati Radharani. And in Kali Yuga also, in Gaur Leela also, it was Putana through the words of Aho Bakiyam that united Gadadhar and Vrishabhanu Maharaj. Who was Gadadhar? Radharani. Who was Vrishabhanu Maharaj? Pundarika Vidhyanidhi. So in both examples, it was Putana who united the father and the daughter. But in Krishna Lila, it was the devotee who found the Lord. It was Vrishabhanu Maharaj who found Radharani. And in Gaur Lila, it was the master, that is Srimati Radharani, who found the devotee, that is Pundarika Vidhyanidhi or Vrishabhanu Maharaj. In this way, the cycle is complete. In Krishna Lila, the devotee finds the master. In Gaur Lila, the master finds the devotee. The cycle is complete. In this way, the devotee is happy, the Lord is also happy. And all credit to Putana Mataji, because of her, the Lord and the devotee were united. In this way, I very humbly end the discussion and apologize for going almost 20 minutes over. But thank you all, dear devotees, for very kindly being on the call and encouraging me to speak something on the lines of Gadadhar taking initiation from Pundarik Vidhyanidhi, and Pundarik Vidhyanidhi being ecstatic by hearing the words of Aho Bakiyam Stanakalakutam. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru.
Unmute Mataji, sorry.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga. Such a very wonderful pastime you just explained about Gadadhar Pandit and Pundarika Vidhyanidhi. It was really nice. And so many things you told about giving by the example of Ishwar Puri, Ramchandra Puri, how we should not do the Vaishnava aparat. We don't know anything, right? So you just explain everything in detail, that how Madhvendra Puri reject the Ramchandra Puri because he was always fault finding and criticize his guru's thing. And Ishwar Puri always, he was busy in doing the menial service, and always he was wanting to increase his guru's mood. So such a very nice pastime you told about. And also you just talk about Gauridas Pandit's things and Chaitanya Bhagavat. Shiksha Guru is how much important than Diksha Guru. First Shiksha Guru gives the Diksha Guru, right? I don't go in full detail, just whatever I just accept that thing, I just take it. And after that, you talk about the spiritual body and how we should do the deity worship in Kali Yuga. It is very important. By that, you can get the love, and when you touch the deity, you just got, the emotion and everything like that. And by that, doing that, you just think about, oh, when you do the Shangar or Shingar to Krishna, you just see his beauty, how he looks. And when you put the vastra, clothes, so it was always your mind thinking about that. So by smaran is very nice. And you give so many things about how much progressive steps, 5 steps of progressive steps of smaran, dharana, dhyan, dhruvana, smriti and samadhi. Very nicely you explain everything. And you talk about also the Radhanath Maharaj, whatever he told to the devotees, that when they went in Vrindavan Yatra, and whatever place he went and all devotees went, you should always think about that, whatever I told at that Yatra. So very nice, you just giving the information how we should do smaran, and then it will go to samadhi. And samadhi you told about Siddha Krishna Das Baba, Raghunath Das Goswamis, and Madhusudan Das Baba, and Narhari Chakravarti Sarkar. So nice, so nice. Prabhuji, I don't take too much time. And it's very nice. It's very interesting to know everything about that in details. So Prabhuji, do you have time? So can we get...
Maybe just one question, Mataji, because it's already 9:20 here and it's a working day. So maybe just one question.
Okay. So dear devotees, whoever they have a question or realizing or something to say to Prabhuji, just go ahead.
Radhe Govind.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for your wonderful lecture as always. Prabhuji, I had this question that Vritrasura, in his prayers, he did not ask for liberation. So my question was that did he get a spiritual body, and if yes, then what mode and in which form was he serving the Lord? That was my question. And one like you verse you stated, no, Madhavendra Puri and Radharani chanted the same verse. That verse, can you please share? Because I searched in Google, but I could not find it.
आए दीन
Thank you.
दयाद्र नाथ है मथुरा नाथ कदप्य लोक से. This is, you will find this in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And if we go to the section of departure of Madhavendra Puri when he is departing, um, so there we will see this verse has been quoted. Aye deen dayardar nath hai, mathura nath kadavya lokasya. As far as now, yes, thank you, Kirtida Mataji. Um, as far as Vitrasur point is concerned, if you see Vitrasur earlier, he was already Chitraketu Maharaj. So before being a demon, he was already a Mahapurush. He was already a Mahabhagat who was practical on his way back home, back to Godhead. As Chitraketu Maharaj, he had already got Krishna and he was already in the Vaikuntha airplane, going back home, back to Godhead. And then, as we know, as the story unfolds, he makes some comments which were not aparad because Lord Shiva didn't take it as an aparad, but Mother Parvati, who was not probably cognizant of the friendly nature of Chitraketu Maharaj and Lord Shiva, well, she took it in the wrong spirit and then she cursed. But we see even as Vritrasur, when Vritrasur prays in his prayers, the prayers that he prays are not normal. In fact, the level or the standard of prayers that he prays are pretty much on the par of even the Braja Gopis. Aham hare tava padaika moolam dasanudaso bhavitasmi bhuya मनस्मरे तासु पतेर्गुणांस्ते गृणीत वाक् कर्म करोतु काय न नाकपृष्ठं न च पारमेष्ठं न सार्वभौमं न रसाधिपत्यं न योग सिद्धिर पुनर्भवं व समंजसत्व विरहिय कांक्षी. He says that, my dear Lord, may I always remain your servant, and may lifetime after lifetime I get this opportunity where I can serve your lotus feet. When was the last time we ever saw a demon pray this to the Supreme Lord? Not even Putana does that. Not even Agasur, not even Bakasur. None of these demons do. It's the devotees who pray. The demons never pray for this. But Vritrasur, in fact, if you see in Vrindavan, when the Brajavasis speak, the Brajavasi Kathakara speak, they don't even address Vritrasur as Vritrasur. They say Vritra Mahabhagavat. Why? Because the prayers that he chanted are not something that a demon will chant. It's for the devotees. And if you see his prayers, he practically prays for devotion. He doesn't say, you see the flip side. Gajendra is praying that, my dear Lord, you protect me from this danger and also give me a spiritual body. Dhruva prays that, my dear Lord, you protect me or you give me a bigger kingdom and you give me a spiritual body. But here is Vritrasur who is not saying that, my dear Lord, protect me from Indra's chopping, protect me from Indra's thunderbolt. He doesn't say that. He says, my dear Lord, this is anyway inevitable. This is anyway going to happen. But my dear Lord, make me your servant. Lifetime after lifetime, make me your servant at your lotus feet. And then he gives example after example. Priyam Priyeva Vyushitam Vishanna. He says that just like a wife is always remembering and wanting to be close to the husband, like in that same way, my dear Lord, I am like that wife, you like that husband. And I always want to be in your association. Demons don't pray this way. He gives another example, just like a calf. A calf is always next to the mother cow. He says, my dear Lord, I am like the calf, you're like the cow. Let me always be next to you, serving your lotus feet, being with your associates. Demons don't pray this way. So we find that Vritrasur is the classic example. In fact, the pastime of Vritrasur is seen only in Srimad Bhagavat. You don't find the pastime of Vritrasur anywhere else. It's only in Srimad Bhagavatam because some other pastimes you will find in other Puranas also. But Vritrasur pastime is the only pastime which is seen just in Srimad Bhagavatam, nowhere else. And it makes it glorious for the fact that here is apparently a demon who's chanting verses for devotional service. So we see in his previous life, he was Chitraketu and he was already purified and already glorious and exalted. And then here he comes as Vritrasur only for a few years and again gets back to where he was to back to serving the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world.
Yeah, yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
In which mood was he? Yes, in which mood was he serving? Like, was he friend, Sakyarus, or that?
As Chitraketu Maharaj, the mood is more in Vaikuntha Bhav because Chitraketu Maharaj is not in mood of Brajapasi. So the mood is more Vaikuntha. But as to how, even if he's there in Vrindavan, what are the details, whether he's in Sakhya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya, has not been stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Nor have I come across Prabhupada writing it in his purports that Vritrasura went back to Golok Vrindavan, which is also a possibility because the verses that he chants are for pure devotional service. So it's also a possibility that he got Krishna in Vrindavan. But what the mode is, whether it's Sakhya, whether it's Vatsalya, whether it's Madhurya, whether it's Dasya, from the verses at least we see it's more in the mode of Dasya Ras. It's definitely not in the mode of Sakhya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya. But again, without speculating, uh, Prabhupada has definitely not commented and Bhagavatam doesn't speak about it. But all that we know, he is definitely an associate of the Supreme Lord who's serving the Lord in one of the different transcendental mellows that are explained by Rupa Goswami.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you for your wonderful answer, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. We can end here, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you and your services. Very nice class, enlightening class, and too much details class. And we are very grateful to you, and we are look forward to your association again in future. If nobody have any question, and if your permission, we can end the call. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री चैतन्य भागवत की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हिज ग्रेस अर्जुन सखा दास प्रभु जी की जय। हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Bol. Hare
प्रभु जी।
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Hare. Hare Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you.